was mentioned that the legislators were looking at giving themselves a raise because they are so underpaid and it's been so long. Has there been a bill presented? And this is to the two career politicians that change jobs when they get to the end of their terms. So they can answer that question, I'm sure, about a pay raise.
Since I got elected, I've made $6,000 a year as a legislator, and I've opposed every bill that has ever attempted to give me more. I'm doing this as a servant of the people, and therefore I will not vote to increase my salary or any of the per diem or any other payments that would come in the off session. We're not paid a lot of money, but I appreciate that which I am compensated as I do the people's work. I will support the bill.
Chuck, I stood up even though, number one, I'm not a career politician. Number two, I've never been term limited out. I have switched houses, but but to answer your question, the last pay raise, to the best of my knowledge, was 15 to 20 years ago. And generally speaking, I'll vote for a pay raise. And right now we're paid $6,000 a year. That seems like a pretty modest amount. New Hampshire pays their legislators $100 a year. And the wealthy have been able to serve in New Hampshire, and the working class probably can't. If we want a legislature that is strictly from the retired and strictly from the wealthy, keep freezing our salaries forever, and you'll end up with a legislature that doesn't represent the people. So I would generally prefer and vote for a bill that will allow most people to afford to be there. Thank you.
Since I'm on the bill as a sponsor, it's Senate Bill 160. It's been deferred in committee, and I can almost guarantee, or actually I can guarantee that will fail. And the reason why I co-sponsor this bill is, and my priorities are, like I talked about, with education and Aspire, groups like that. So I'm going to make sure that is really, the picture is really clear and the funding is there for that before we do a pay increase for legislators. Because I'm there to also serve you. But one thing that, it's the same, or it's a similar argument for any other job that you have a tough time getting people to apply for. I mean, when we put ourselves on the ballot, we're applying for that job. And I think some of you might really question how qualified some legislators are in the state and question their judgment. So I think you don't want the pay so low that people are doing it because they're rich and wealthy, but you don't want it so high that they're doing it for the money. And so I think a slight increase is reasonable, but it's just not going to happen in this session, and it will be a long time before it does, just because it's hard for us to make sure that those other priorities are met and have money left over for that, because those are our priorities. But at some point, you're going to have a legislature that is all from one group, which doesn't help the decisions and the point of view to solve all the issues we have in the state. And so we need to have a diverse group that our legislators, our city council, our county commission, if you have all the same people from the same group, you're going to have some bad decisions come out of that legislative body. So I don't see that bill passing though, but I think at some point we do need to address it, but this year's not the year.